Yeah, this is kind of like a prayer to all the the ones that came later in my life. Yeah, I appreciate all the blessings God has given me, and I want to repay it to you like this. Clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. Introducing. This is the joint where we give shout outs to all the peeps, you know what I'm saying? You know we couldn't do this joint without spreading some love to the ones. Yo, check it. Clear. If I just ruled the world, I would give y'all everything. Yes, we going out. We going out just like that. Yeah. We going out. We going out just like that. Yeah. This is kind of like a prayer going out to all the peeps close to me and dear to me, the ones that's been there for my whole life, the ones that came later in my life. Yeah, I appreciate all the blessings God has given me.
Yes, folks. I'm just here and I'm going to wait around. The panel is open and I want to hear your views. If you've never hopped up on the panel before, hop on up. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what your background is. It would really be nice uh, if you're American, but if you're not American, um, it would be nice if you know something, could cite some details or some specifics that people can look up. You know what I mean? Not just opinion like, oh, he's a great guy or she's a dirtbag. Not that kind of stuff, but like real things. I want you to tell me something specific that Trump has done for you or your community that would cause you to vote for him this election cycle. And you know, let me know your thoughts, what you think, and I'm going to be here for a little bit. So what did Trump do for you? Let me know. Let me know why you're going to go down to the polls and vote for Donald Trump. I would really like to hear it. I got time. I'm off today. For the moment, I'm off. Got to work later on tonight. But in any case, I might be online tonight too. But I'm gonna let it roll, and I'm around here. I'm gonna sit around. You let me know what you think. Let me know why you think Trump is a good candidate. I would like to hear that. Maybe there's some information that would maybe get me to vote for Trump. I don't think that's what I don't think that's possible at this point in the juncture. Maybe it might have been possible a little more. I mean, I would never say never. Usually, I never say never, but I still want to hear. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's some pertinent information. And until then, I want to show you what I mean by hop up on the panel, but give me something I can really, jump into and and learn something from. Research. That's what I would like. I would like to get some information that I could research. Um, and daggone, is this the right one? This one, maybe. No. Yeah, I would like some information about Trump that I could research that would convince me that, hey, man, I might want to vote for this guy, right? That would be nice to know. But let me show you what I mean. The kind of information I don't want is stuff like this. Like, let me go to this short here. This short has about 1,000 views at the moment, and there's been some commenting here, right? There's been some commenting, uh, and the commenting wasn't that great. Let me show you what I mean here. Um, you know, I mean, it's okay. I don't. I like to hear different points of view, but when there's nothing, when you're not, when you're getting just things that are too light, it's hard to tell you. Now check this out. Oh, not this one. I'm sorry. Uh, Look here. Here's something. I don't know if you heard this. Let me play it. Let me turn the music down. Show you what I mean. Now, this is the context. This is the video. Take a listen to this.
You define DEI. Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
Give me a
literally the
definition then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define it?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define
So,
it.
everybody knows about this exchange that happened at the Black Press um, Association, and now check this out. This guy, there's a guy named Chris Paris 404. He came on and he said this woman is clueless. Okay, and my comment is like, she's clueless, but that's not a fact. You can say it, but it just kind of rings dull because she seems pretty smart. I'm quite sure she's worked just as hard as most people do. If you don't know any details to kind of back up your suspicion that that's not true, then why would you jump to a conclusion that she's clueless? you know but for those of you all that missed this exchange at the Black Press Association gathering, right? She asked Donald Trump, is Kamala Harris a DEI hire? So she asked him a question and then he asked her to define it. But what is very odd about that is that why does she have to define it when she's asking Trump? Because Trump's campaign has been calling her a DEI hire since April of 2003, over a year ago. So the context is how he defined it. The context and the definition is on him because it's his own words that she's asking about. And so this guy, he says, Chris Paris says, this woman is clueless. Okay, now check this out. Let's go to the next one. DEI equals didn't earn it. Okay, but didn't earn it. Can you prove she didn't earn it? How do you prove it? Okay, she didn't earn it by what? Being a prosecutor, getting that job. I think you even have to be elected by votes to get a prosecutor in San Francisco. Okay, so she didn't earn that. She just got it differently from other people. Okay, that's really strange. That's really strange to say. Then she got to the Senate. You need votes for that. She didn't earn it because she got the votes there. And again, this guy's name is Hertzman5, right? He says she didn't earn it. And then so I say to him, so why didn't Trump know that? Right? Why doesn't he know what a DEI hire is when it's his own words that he's been saying for over for over a year now. And now the journalist is asking him. It's his big chance to explain why she's a DEI. Everyone's wanted to know that. But you could see the responses. They don't give an answer. You could see Trump doesn't give an answer. So why even use the language? Hey, what's up, Pumpkin? How you doing?
Hey,
I can see you. I hear you. What's going on?
yeah.
You want to
Oh,
tell
no.
me? You see the title. The title is "Tell Me Why Trump is far." Oh, I need to redo that. Is a far better choice for president. I want anybody to hop up
You mean,
and
do
just
I
tell me.
think he's a better choice?
If you think he's a better choice, yeah. But if not, it's okay.
Is
But
that is that what you're trying to find out?
I
Do I?
want people to come up
Does
and
anybody
convince
think
me.
he's the better choice?
Yeah, I would like to hear the details and why he's the better choice. I would like to fact check them to see if they pan out. The
Oh,
fact.
no! I see what you're doing. Nah, this question ain't for me. I don't think he's no better choice. You know, I don't think he's no better choice. I mean, the lady has all the credentials. I saw the whole thing.
You
Oh,
saw the whole
excuse
you
me.
saw the whole thing?
I saw the whole
Oh,
interview. Rachel
the
Scott.
exchange here. Oh, right, right,
Yeah,
right, right,
I
right. I
saw the
saw it too.
whole interview.
Oh,
And
okay.
no,
Now
no,
check
no,
this out.
no.
So he says, Hertzman, I asked him, why didn't Trump know that, right? And he said he didn't ask her to define it because he didn't know what it was. That's not why he asked it. Is this hard for you to follow? Okay, well, in the English language, it sounds very much like the opposite. It sounds very much like he's been calling her a DEI for a year and a half almost, or over a year in the media. His campaign has been doing that. She's a journalist. He comes to her place of business and she asked him, why is he calling her that? And he never explained. It's his definition we want to know, not hers. He's the one who's been calling her that. The pertinent information would be, why did he call her that? And that's exactly what she asked him, and he didn't have an answer. He was like, well, define DEI. He act like she's a police officer or something. Like he don't, yeah, well, define it. Because now he don't know. It's not the same DEI he's been saying for a year. It's a new DEI, and define it. Let me answer that one. What do you think I meant? It's like, what the heck? It doesn't matter what we think you mean. We need to know exactly why you called her that and what you mean. You see what I mean? And this guy, you see, this is I couldn't get any pertinent information out of Hartzman number 5. So I said, after he said he didn't ask her to define it because he didn't know what it was, and is that hard for you to follow? And then I say, oh, yes, he did, because she answered and told him, and he still said, can you tell me again after? He clearly did not know, and everyone knows it who chooses to be honest. Now here, let's listen to it again.
Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define it?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it.
So it's obviously Hartzman number 5. His comments don't make any sense. So I want to get people like this to come up and explain it. Let's go through the details together. Let's do the research together and see if it pans out. And then he says, okay, I'll type this slow for you. He asked her to define DEI. He didn't ask her what the letters DEI stood for. To define is to explain what something or words and phrases actually mean. To set out, spell out, explain. Look at this. This guy thinks that Trump is the journalist, and she's the and she's the one running for president. Nobody cares how she defines DEI because Trump is the one who's been calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire for over a year. The people want to know why he calls her that. They don't want to know what the journalist's definition is. You see, and it's crazy, but that's what it is. Okay, and all that lady did in response to his request was keep repeating diversity, equity, equality. I'm sorry. It's not even equality. He got this wrong. It's equity. Here, let me listen to it. Sorry about this.
You a
No,
question,
no,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah.
Right. This dude doesn't even know. Hartzman doesn't even realize it's not equality. Okay. It's equity. And that kind of shows you a lot of people really aren't not sharp, it appears, because it's equity inclusion. They don't know what equity means. Maybe that's why, But in any case, now let me go to the next one. Wait, the letters mean and the definition is completely different things. She asked him, and then I responded. Now this is Gerard Mahadio 4479. He writes, wait, or he writes, what the letters mean in the definition is completely different things. Again, this is not, we're not trying to find out how she defines it because she has not been the one calling Kamala Harris a DEI. What's pertinent here to journalists is to find out why Trump and his campaign has been calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire for over a year. That's the question. The question was given to Trump because he is the one who has been calling her that. So it is important to know why he did. How did he define it? Why did he call her that? And these people are just full of it. Let's listen to it again. Let's listen one more time.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is. Give
Give me
me
a definition then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define?
Diversity,
Right.
equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah.
Now, what prompted this was she asked him. She wanted to know, and so she's the one that asked him first. Why did he call Kamala Harris a DEI, and why? And he's like, "Can you define it for me? Can you define it for me?" It's like, whoa. Now the next one, Antonioid 2764 wrote, "How can a man be so confident about his poor hearing?" Yes, I agree with that one, Antonioid. How is it poor hearing or is it just he's an idiot? How can he be so confident in anyway, Now look, and then someone else writes this. I don't know where the heck, in any case, people confuse these terms all the time. I could tell a lot of Trump people, it appears as if they don't know what any of this stuff is, that they're completely and utterly confused about it. Because look, the next person, G-Man Power, wrote, "In my mind, you support LGBT." Now, how does he know that? How does he know I support LGBT? I mean, I don't hate LGBT. I don't want to kill LGBT people. I don't want to oppress them. But does that mean I support them? What does it mean to support? Do you know how many groups of people fall into the diversity, equity? Do you know how many people fall into that? I mean, and he summed it up to LGBT. I find that really interesting because it shows you a lot about, I mean, to me, I could be wrong, but it tells me a lot about the psychology. In his mind, he pointed to what he doesn't like himself and misses everything else inside of the diversity thing, including themselves. I mean, do you know that Howard University, a historic black college that was founded during segregation because of diversity, equity, inclusion today, you know what it means? It means they also have to let some white folk in. They also have to let some Asians in. They have to let them because they're minorities too in that specific case. You see what I'm saying? And this guy, he thinks it diversity is only about LGBT. That's crazy. No, diversity is about everybody having a good shot at something. So why focus on what you don't like in the diversity? Why not focus on what you do like? And if you, what are you? You should be focusing on what are you? And this person is like, what did he say? In my mind, you support LGBT. Listen to this. This
If you
I
would.
just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is that is.
Give me a
literally the
definition then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for
Right.
me.
So I wrote back to G-Man Power. Yeah, that's a real strong sounding name. I bet you it's a wimp. All right, but I wrote back to him or her, whoever that is. So you define your pride for yourself via the hatred you have for others. Sounds backwards to me. Hatred of others is not evidence of love for yourself. You actually have to do something about what you love more than you do to show hate for others. That was my response. Right? That was my response to that. Now hold on one second. Let me see here. And then I wrote something else. Oh yeah, and then I responded, he only had a YouTube account for a year. Now this is Hertzman responding again. Easily, she didn't define it. She just stated what those letters stood for. If I asked you to define USA, would you just say United States of America? To define the US? Well, what do you want? You want me to pull out a book and read to you the entire history and blah blah blah. First the Pilgrims showed up. You want me to give you the No, defining is not the history. Nobody has to. A journalist doesn't have to explain to you what the language that you use. A journalist has to ask you what you meant. See, it's irrelevant what she meant by DEI because she's not the one who called Kamala Harris a DEI hire. It's Trump and Trump's campaign that has been calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire for over a year publicly. The question was put to him because he is the one that has been using the term. So we want to know, inquiring minds want to know, how do you define it, Trump? And why did you call it that? That's what we want to know. Listen.
Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir,
So if you watched the event, you would know this. You would know that she asked him a question based on his public statements and his campaign's attacks on Kamala Harris for over a year, where they have defined her as a DEI. So she's asking them, why did you do that? To explain it. And what he does to avoid it is to say, can you define DEI? Man, Can you define DEI? Is that what you're asking me? You mean you're gonna call Kamala Harris for a year? This is a coward talking anyway, Donald Trump. He's gonna call Kamala Harris a DEI hire for over a year. For over a year. And his campaign, they're telling other people to call that. And then when it comes time to explain why they did, he says, "Can you define it for me?" Fool!
That's when I smack the shit out you. I smack the shit out.
That's what I would have done. You see what I'm saying? Like, who you think you playing with, boy? Mr. Trump? What's up with the psychology of these people? Are they schoolyard, elementary school kids? They have all the time. It's Mr. Trump that wants to be president. He's the one begging people for votes, not me. I ain't begging nobody for a goddamn vote. Trump is begging people for vote. He went there to get their vote, and he can't even explain what he says himself. Man, Trump, fuck you. Now, let me read some of these. I'm sorry, but if you can tell me why Trump is a far better choice for president, hop on up on the panel and let me know. Oh, hold on, Pumpkin's here too, and let me know what you think. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, y'all. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, let me put this up here. Diversity, equity, inclusion. That is the definition of the term DEI. Is such an what the look he's the one. It doesn't even matter what the definition is. He's the one that's supposed to be answering that for himself. He's the one that's been calling her a DEI for over a year. His whole campaign has been doing that. Maybe he doesn't know what DEI means. I mean, I want to know what the fuck do you mean when you say it, Trump? That's what I want to know. God damn, you ask the people what it means, the people that are fucking using it. It's Trump that's been calling her this. What's relevant is that he can define it for everybody. And he didn't want to define it. He got scared. He ran like a little sissy.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
No,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then.
words
Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it.
He couldn't define it. What's up, Pumpkin?
No, nothing. I saw the whole thing. I was like, damn, I wish I was on there. Because first of all, it would have never got that stupid. I would have been like, you know what? I'm asking the questions. She was very calm with him. I'm not the calm person. She was very calm with him.
She was professional, but
yeah,
she's a journalist.
You gotta throw professional in the corner with him. You can't be professional with them. You have to be. Now he asked, "What is?"
Yeah, because look,
the
you
definition?
can be professional.
She told him. She told him diversity, equity, and inclusion. At one time I didn't know what DEI stand for, but he said it so much until I finally realized what it was. And no, so he's the type of person you can be professional, but you got to be strong. And I love Rachel Scott and I love ABC News because that's what I listen to. But Donald Trump, when they stupid like that, you just got to get stupid with them. He knows that woman. That woman, you put Donald Trump went to school. His sister and his niece said he paid the sister, that was the federal judge, he paid her to do his homework, said he never did nothing. He don't know nothing. He knows nothing.
Yes.
They put their record up.
Yeah,
Put
and that's
anybody with an ounce of brain, put his record up. Okay, if she's a DEI, what makes you more qualified than her? He don't stand a chance. The woman went to Howard University. She graduated magna cum laude, however you say that. She the
how
top
are
of her
you?
class.
First of all, how is she a DEI when everything that's been a part of her career pretty much has
Get an
required
election.
getting it exactly? She had to get the votes. How is that a D? That nobody had to vote for her ass, but they voted for her. So how is that a D? The person that if she did not get the votes, it wouldn't matter if you came from if you was Putin, you wouldn't get that job. It doesn't matter if you're Elon Musk. If you didn't get the votes, you couldn't be the prosecutor she was, you couldn't be the senator that she was, and you couldn't be the vice president that she was. How is that a
Everything
DEI?
was an election. She got it because
Exactly.
she was elected.
What the?
But
So that shows you that Donald Trump basically is a racist because think about all the people that have to prove themselves that way. They have to go to school and get the grades, and if they don't get the grades, they get a fail. They don't. You can't go to university. The professor's not going to give you a grade because of your color. Period. They're
they
not going to
do
do
that.
that. You have to do the work. You're not going to get the job of a prosecutor because of your color. You have to get the votes. In San Francisco, she had to get the votes. You're not going to become a senator because of your color. You must. Absolutely and purely and only the defining factor is that you must be chosen by the multitude. That's the only way. It doesn't matter if you're a goddamn genius. You don't get the job without the work, without the votes. And he's the one who has a campaign that's been calling her a DEI. The journalist asked the appropriate question: why have you been calling her this for over a year, you dumb asshole? And his answer was what? His answer was this. All of a sudden, he don't know what the hell it means.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define it?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then.
words.
Would you give me a
Hey,
definition?
look,
of that?
look,
Give me a
Pumpkin.
definition.
He could have hopped in there. She said, yeah, that's my definition. He could have hopped in there and said, well, that's not mine. Here's my definition. This is why I call her a DEI. But he didn't want to do that. You know why I suspect it is? I suspect because he didn't know his goddamn self. That's
He
what I
don't.
think it is.
He don't know. He
And he was
knows
embarrassed.
absolutely nothing. Nothing. Why would anybody vote for him?
It's the height of stupidity. You got a campaign.
No, it's not.
And-
It's not even
and-
stupidity. They know exactly
No.
what they're doing. They're a bunch of racists.
No. Yeah, no, but don't give them the credit. You can be stupid and a racist at the same time. All racists aren't necessarily stupid at everything, but this man has people working.
Donald
for
Trump
him.
know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He don't know shit, and he sits up there and pretends he knows. He tries to know, and he said it himself. He likes uneducated people because they make him feel fucking smart. He's a damn dummy. I don't care. Nobody can tell me no different.
Look, what presidential candidate runs a campaign where you have talking points about the person you're running against for over a year, and when you get asked about it, you can't answer it?
Exactly. He knows what he's doing. He ain't stupid as he wants people to think he is. He knows that she's far better equipped than he is, and he is riling up those ignorant people he got and the dumbass black people that follow him too and want them to vote for him. Everybody.
Check this out. Here's another thought. Here's the flip side. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say he does know what it means, like you say, right? Maybe he does know what it means. So then that means he decided to walk in there, and because he's talking to the Black Associated Press, he changed his position. Could it be that? that he
No, he
didn't
ain't
want to
changed
explain it?
nothing.
You see
Nah,
what I
nah.
mean? Like, yeah, because he needs their votes, because he's begging for black people's votes. He knows he will lose this election if he answered that question.
He
That's why
already
he,
lost it. He
yeah, I
already
think
lost
I
it.
agree.
I think the best thing, people at first I thought he shouldn't have went there, but I think that was the best thing he did. Because if
Absolutely.
anybody votes for him now, they gotta be out their damn mind. This from the statistics I read, the things I read, he by doing this interview, why do you think he got what? Black women for Kamala. Then it started out, now it's white women for Kamala. Then it was white men for Kamala. Then now it's white comedians for Kamala.
Yeah.
White actors, everything is going white this, white that for Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. And this stupid ass picture. Where the hell did this come from? Please.
This is this
Uh,
is his he this is because I'm just curious. I don't know. I'm not sure if the rappers that he's
and
been
all
with,
rappers ain't for him
do
either.
they?
Even that simple ass Kanye West, please. Has to
I'm just
stop with
curious.
that
I would like to
nonsense.
know. I would like to know from anybody. Explain to me how Kamala Harris was a DEI hire in any of her jobs. Just explain that
They
to me.
can't.
Prosecutor,
You too good.
senator,
Too
uh,
good.
vice president. How so?
You
You
know
know,
damn well that they can't say nothing that she was a DEI when she was elected, but they feel it's a smear campaign. This is what they're trying to do. I read somebody some panel I was at, something I was listening. Oh, I was listening to the comedians for Kamala, and they had some. Of course, they had the trolls in there, and they was talking about she went with Willie Brown and stuff. I just blocked them out. You don't have to have a wrench to block people. I just took them out the picture out of there. I said, now they still harping about Willie Brown. Well, what about Trump? 34 felony convictions. One of the convictions is for SA.
but
For,
look,
you know,
even more, it's like it's irrelevant who she dates. Who she dated is irrelevant. Nobody cares about who Trump been dating. Nobody cares who Trump been sleeping with. Nobody even cares. No
I'm
one's
sure no.
interested. It has nothing to do who you slept with, who you cheated on your wife with. It really doesn't have nothing to do with
He's
your
just a
campaign.
dumbass. Just a
Right.
stupid ass.
Us finding out who you slept with is not going to equate to what you're going to do for us when you become president. So it's a completely irrelevant point. She dated Willie Brown. I don't give a damn. Maybe Willie Brown, maybe it's
Willie
true, maybe
Brown
it's
had
not.
been in, if they went further, she dated Willie Brown. Yes, she dated him. But when she dated him, if you find out the backstory to that, he had been separated from his wife for 13, 14 years, almost 15 years. So who
Um,
cares? Who cares?
I mean, it's to
Whoever she
me,
wanted to date.
it's like, it's it doesn't make sense, because then everybody's going to have to obviously ask, well, who you been dating, Donald Trump? And we don't want to know either. We don't give a damn, because
I'm
who
sure
he is
though.
dating who he dated won't equate to what he plans on doing as president. It won't even matter. It has nothing to do with it. So I'm just curious. The question today is, hop up on the panel and tell me, why do you think Trump is a far better choice for president? Hop up on the panel and speak your mind. Let me know, let the world know why you think. Maybe there's something we missing.
Ain't
Maybe
no
we would.
we missing. I think the question should have been, do you think Trump is the better candidate? Yes or no? Have the ones who come up say why they think, and the ones who don't think he is say why. But anyway, I
Right.
already said
It's the
it. You
same
know,
question. It's the same
well,
question. It could be
well, okay.
rephrased. It could
But
be rephrased.
you
Right.
know, some of these damn people, you got to be specific with it. You got to say, is he or is he not? Yes or no. You got to be specific because I always tell you, excuse me, whatever. I don't know what these people be reading because the stuff I read in Project 25, it don't sound the same to me what they believe. They ain't got no comprehension. That's my thing. And Byron, what's his name? Donalds, he's a jackass too. Tim, well, at least Tim Scott got the sense enough to shut the hell up now. He didn't get what he wanted, so he got up there and did that thing at the convention and stuff. Oh please, Donald Trump just terrible. He just stupid. He just terrible. Anybody
Look at this. Hold on, check this out. We got some new replies here, but they don't want to hop up. But let's read the replies.
they don't want to hop up because they know why.
Look at this. Look at this. This is so funny. This is Robert Pierce, and he, I believe it's a he. He says, or Robert says, she did not define anything. We the people choose President Trump. Now we know.
Robert, go to hell. That's
First
what
of all,
say.
first of all, she no, the journalist doesn't define what DEI is. It's Donald Trump that is the one who's been calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire for over a year and his campaign. The journalist did the journalistic job by asking him, why did he call her that? He's the one who needs to define why he did. What is his definition is what we want to know. That's the question. And he's like, can you define it for me? Why do we need to define it when you're the one calling her that? It's you who needs to define it yourself. You need to explain yourself why you call Kamala Harris that. No one else can answer that question. That was the question put to him, and he could not answer it. It's just that simple. But thank you for your comment, Robert. Okay, let me see here. There was one more comment here. Let me see here. This is too funny. I swear. Let's see here. Was there one more new one? Okay, I don't think there was. Okay, that was just a new one from Robert. Well, thank you for your comment, Robert. You didn't deal with what actually happened. The context matters. This happened at the Black Association for Journalists, and Trump was invited to come here and speak about his ideas. Journalists, their views and their ideas, when they're asking you a question, it doesn't matter. Because you're the one running for president, Donald Trump. That's the question. The question is posed to you to answer because people only want to know how you defined it. And how they get that is by asking you, why did you call her that? It doesn't matter if you know what DEI means. You could say that. It doesn't matter if your definition, Donald Trump, is wrong. It doesn't even matter if you got a whole nother definition. The point is, if we don't ask you why you called it that, we will never know. And that was the time to ask. And guess what? You didn't answer. That's what happened. Context is everything. So, and it should be everything. So Donald Trump did not answer the journalist's question. He answered it the same question she asked him. He asked her back. Well, how do you define it? It's like, what is this? She's not the one running for president. It's Donald Trump. She's not the one who needs votes. It's Donald Trump. She's not the one running for president begging people to vote for her. It's Donald Trump. So her definition doesn't matter. The only person's definition that matters is the person that's been calling Kamala Harris a DEI. That was the question she asked Trump. Why did you call her that? Explain. And he couldn't explain. He diverted. He went to, but can you define this for me, please, lady? Because I don't want to, because I'm sitting in front of the black press and they ain't going to give me no votes if I tell them why. So I'm just going to divert and say, you tell me what a DEI is. It's like, come on, that is so cowardly. I mean, it's just cowardly. Let me read this question. But we have on record how his sex life affected his ability to govern. he cut taxes to pay porn stars. I mean, the man has been embattled, and he lost that case, by the way, where he indeed, I believe it's a campaign, using campaign funding in a fraudulent manner. You're not supposed to use campaign funds to pay for hush money, for people to stop talking about what they want to talk about, their relationships with you. You're not supposed to do that. And as a matter of fact, let me see. Let me see here. Let me dig this up for everybody, just to be clear here. Let's see here. Can you explain what Donald Trump's hush money trial was about and the conclusion of that trial? Let me see here. I'm going to pull this up now so everybody can see it. Let's see here. Alrighty. Let me see here. Oh, let me check my phone too. Sorry. Okay. 2 seconds, y'all. It's coming up. It's about to be done. Here we go.
Donald Trump's hush money trial. Overview and conclusion. Background. The hush money case involving former President Donald Trump revolves around allegations that he directed payments to silence individuals who claimed to have had extramarital affairs with him, thereby influencing the 2016 presidential election. Key details. 1. Individuals involved. Stormy Daniels, an adult film actress who claimed to have had an affair with Trump in 2006. Karen McDougal, a former Playboy model who also claimed to have had an affair with Trump. 2. Payments. Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal attorney and fixer, facilitated payments to Daniels and McDougal to ensure their silence. Cohen admitted to making a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels in October 2016, just before the presidential election. 3. Legal issues. The payments raised questions about violations of campaign finance laws. Prosecutors argued that the hush money payments constituted illegal contributions to Trump's campaign because they were intended to prevent negative information from surfacing during the election. Trial and conclusion. 1. Michael Cohen's conviction. In August 2018, Michael Cohen pleaded guilty to 8 criminal charges, including tax fraud, bank fraud, and campaign finance violations. He stated under oath that Trump directed him to make the hush money payments. Number 2, Donald Trump's legal battles. Trump, as of the latest updates, has faced multiple legal challenges related to various allegations, but specific outcomes and charges related directly to the hush money payments have been part of broader investigations and proceedings rather than a single conclusive trial for Trump himself. In December 2021, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office continued its criminal investigation into Trump's business practices, which could potentially include aspects related to the hush money payments. Civil and criminal investigations. Various legal entities, including the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the New York Attorney General, have ongoing investigations into Trump's business practices and finances. These investigations can encompass elements of the hush money allegations, but are part of wider probes. Current status. As of the latest information available in 2024, Donald Trump has not faced a trial specifically focused solely on the hush money allegations. However, he has been involved in numerous legal battles and investigations that include these allegations as part of broader scrutiny into his business and campaign practices. The situation is dynamic, and further developments can arise based on ongoing investigations and legal proceedings. For the most current and detailed information, it is advisable to refer to the latest reports from reputable news sources or official statements from the involved legal authorities.
Yes. So that was what that was about, the hush money trial. And his attorney, Fixer, testified on the matter, and he actually was convicted himself. And I'm not sure why they haven't even taken Trump up on that yet. But the bottom line is that that's part of his personal affairs. That's part of his dating, which the MAGA people seem to like to talk about on other people. So when you talk about that stuff, the question obviously comes back to, damn, but wait a second, you know what about your hush money trial? But in any case, folks, today and right now, anybody can hop up on the panel. The link is here in the chat. All you got to do is click on the link. You can hop up, and you could express your views. Let me know why you believe Donald Trump is a far better choice for president of the United States of America. And yeah, let me know what you think about it. If you want to, you don't have to. By the way, you could also stay in the chat. You don't have to hop up on the panel, but in any case, I'm gonna give it a little bit of minute. Donald Trump never answered this question.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no, you have to define it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you?
See, she said, "Sir, I'm asking you a question." It's very obvious. She asked him about why his campaign for a year had been labeling Kamala Harris a DEI. And when she asked him that question, the man said, well, how do you define DEI? But that's completely irrelevant because it's not the journalist that labeled her that. It is specific to wanting to know why Donald Trump labeled her that. So he's free to define it however he wants, because that's what people want to know. People want to know, well, what do you mean, Mr. Trump? That's the whole point. Everybody wants to know, why did you do that? And the man couldn't answer the question. So let's get on to that. Yo, Pumpkin, what's the look at this. Yeah, look at this thing. Here's another message. You are putting up, this message is from Doyle. Yeah, from Doyle, I guess. You are putting up a video to try and discredit Trump, but it shows the opposite. Rather, it shows the woman has no clue what definition means. Great pro Trump short you have uploaded. Ha ha ha. Sorry, the Jedi mind trick does not change the facts. Donald Trump is the one running for president. If he wants to win, he can gladly disprove anything that he likes. But he didn't prove why he called her a DEI. He wouldn't even respond to the question. Would you like to hear it again? See, she even says, Doyle, she even says, sir, I am asking you a question.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define?
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
Give me
literally
a
the
definition then.
words.
Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a
No,
question.
no,
a
you have
very
to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you?
He said, define it for me. That's what he asked. Define it for me. See? How can anyone define the label that he used when the question is asked to him to find out what he means and why he would call her that? Why? Why would you? We want to know. And he couldn't answer. His thought was, well, hey, you tell me what you think DEI means. Nobody cares what she thinks it means. She's the journalist. Everybody wants to know. And that was the opportunity for Trump to explain. And he didn't have the nuts to explain why he called Kamala Harris a DEI. He just didn't have the kahunas to do it. He backed out. He was talking that shit. His campaign raised money to talk that shit. They spread that shit around, calling her that. And when it came time to answer why he called her that, the man crawled under a rock and disappeared. That's what happened. And it's sad to see, but he's a grown ass man. He can hold his own nuts. Yo, Pumpkin. And on top of that, don't you want to convince people to vote for you, Trump? Why did you show up if you don't need their votes? Do you need their votes, Trump? You looking for somebody to vote for you, Trump? You worried about this election, Trump? Do you need any votes? Well, when you need votes, people ask you questions, bro. That's how it works. That's what campaigning is all about. You go out and you meet the people. They ask you questions. The journalists ask you questions to find out if you're the candidate for them. That's how it works. They don't want to know what the journalist's opinion is, really. You can state the facts. The journalists can state the facts, and they stated it. Why did you call Kamala Harris a DEI? Why has your campaign been doing that? Why have you been using campaign funds to call her that if you cannot answer the question? The journalist hasn't been raising money to spread that, to call Kamala Harris a DEI. The journalist hadn't done that. None of the journalists in the room have done that. It's Trump and his campaign that did. So the question falls on him. It's no one else's responsibility. Nobody else's. But in any case, let's see here. That's good. But I thank you, Doyle. Thanks for the for the click. Please subscribe also if you don't mind, and feel free to leave more comments. That helps the algorithm. I appreciate that a whole lot. But again, the Jedi mind tricks don't work here. Let me go out of this. Now, Kamala Harris is about to, in some hours from now, is expected to announce her VP. Donald Trump has already announced his VP choice, and that was VD Vance, or JD Vance. I'm sorry, JD Vance. And that doesn't seem to be going too good. So let's see here. Let's see if we can see some polls about Donald Trump's pick. It's his pick. Nobody made him pick JD Vance. I don't know if somebody in the campaign advised him to pick JD Vance. Who knows? But ultimately, the responsibility is on him. JD Vance polls for vice. Yeah, polls. Let's see here. Let's see if they got any new stuff. 2 days ago. Let's see here. Wow, it says he's losing 1 point a day. Hold on. JD Vance tears says into Kamala Harris. Oh, sure. Yeah. They got to ask him too. That's the first question somebody gonna ask him. Why did you call her a DEI? Well, how do you define DEI? That's what he's gonna. VP nominee responds to criticism. Okay, damn, he's getting criticized. Wow. Now let me see here.
His old stupid ass son told him to pick Vance. His advisors told him to pick somebody else.
Oh, hold on. Yo, Pumpkin. What about the fact that the journalist? Hold on. Journalist asked VD Vance, would he take citizenship from immigrants, right? Something like that. And childless cat backlash. Let's see here. Nomination. Where is that? I need to find that. Well, the journalist asked him that, and he said that he would. But the problem is, and I believe it was like first generation or something like that. But the problem is that according to them, that would disqualify Donald Trump's wife and his son.
And also Vance's wife, because she's Indian, East Indian.
Now who? Right, and India. Also Vance's wife, his own damn wife. Now,
and his children,
and his children. And who covered that story? What network was that?
Probably ABC. It was MSNBC or ABC because that's about all that's really doing something. It might have been CBS too.
It might have been CBS too. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. ABC. Okay,
ABC
let me see
is
here.
David Muir. You had it,
J.
the one where it
Vance.
says full episode. Try right there. David Muir, World News Tonight. He's pretty good.
That was 4 hours ago. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So let's choose that. I wanted to see though. Where is it that? Let's see here. Let me put this up, the disclaimer real quick. There you go. Thank you. I'm not sure how many of Trump supporters have heard that, but let's
That's
see
right.
here.
Florida.
That's
Communities
Lindsey
are bracing
Davis.
for potentially historic flooding. The impact will last for days up.
No, let me-
Stock market sell-off.
No, that's
me-
the new one. That's the new one that happened today. They talk about the flood down in Florida. And
Okay, let me see here. JD Vance. Hold on. Let me see. You know what? Let me go into my history. I did have it up here somewhere. Let me go back and see here. Oh, you know who did it? I think Marsalis did it.
Yeah. I forgot about them. They get everything on them. He can't
Okay.
get away with nothing. And another one is Brian Taylor Cohen too.
Is he the one that did he cover that also?
He probably did. But Ben Marsalis and Brian Taylor Cohen, Brian Taylor Cohen is doing what you're doing. Every time something happens, he reports it.
Okay, let's see here. Where's the Midas touch at? I did actually watch it, and it was so ridiculous, and it was so crazy. I can't believe they don't realize that. Let me see here. Kamala announcement. Well, okay, fact check.
Look
Okay,
on
let me see. Okay, hold
all
on.
you have to do is click in immigration
She wants open
policies.
borders.
Why not debate her?
We'll wait.
Here we go.
This now. So let's talk about where the race is, because battleground states, the polls seem to have been narrowing. Let's put it up here. Arizona, Trump still leads, though one poll has got Harris up by 2. Same thing in Nevada. Wisconsin, Trump holds a very narrow lead. Michigan, Trump is ahead, but Harris is up 11 in one new poll, which I think might be an outlier. Trump continues to lead in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. He's still got the advantage, Carl, but she's gaining momentum. There's no question.
So I fully expect that the momentum she has is going to carry her through, unless it's a disastrous vice presidential choice. This momentum is going to leave her in the lead at the end of the Democratic convention.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Vice President Kamala Harris is a once-in-a-generation candidate, and this is a once-in-a-generation moment for America. The choice is clear. Will we choose truth or lies? Will we choose hope or hate? Will we choose the future or be doomed to repeat the past? If I told you those words were from an opinion piece on Fox News, would you believe me or ask what I was smoking / pass it this way? Well, it's true, and no wonder it has the Trump camp in disarray.
She has to answer questions. I also think Donald Trump should debate her on a debate stage. He's waffling on that. He should get on that debate stage and debate her. Sooner rather than later. So I will say Kamala has reset the entire race. Look at the polls. She is back where any typical sort of Democrat would be. Democrats knew we were going to lose with Joe Biden, and she has coalesced the party, and she has brought in enthusiasm. And the last thing I'll say, Dukakis wasn't running against Donald Trump. And Kamala, for all of her past questions with her presidential campaign, she's running as a happy warrior. She's out there making the case for a positive view of America. You might disagree with it, but she's out there with enthusiasm. And Trump is out there with a lot of anger, divisiveness, bitterness. Those two comparisons, the American people are going to pick hope every single time.
It's been an interesting start to the week on the Murdoch News Network, from host Neil Cavuto dropping some much needed context to the stock market, which of course the Republican frontrunner is celebrating, proving that he is the most unpatriotic man in America. Because as he's admitted before, he wants Americans to suffer as long as it benefits him.
You know, Mike, I know, and you do not politicize these things, but the Donald Trump thing in the market amazes me. When they're up, it's all because of him and looking forward to him. When they're down, it's all because the Democrats and how horrific they are. Yet some of our biggest point fall-offs, 3 of the biggest of the top 10, occurred during his administration. Now, a lot of those were in the COVID years. I get that. But, you know, you either own the markets or you don't. It does confuse me, but thank you.
Here he wants to see the stock market crash because he does not want it now. We're doing well. He acknowledging by that we're doing pretty damn well economically and we're getting better. He wants to see the stock market crash. You know why? He doesn't want to be the next Herbert Hoover. As I told him, he's already Hoover.
To them giving more airtime to, you know, sane voices who care about facts over fiction.
Robert, you cover the economy as well. If we're headed for a recession, how difficult could this be for Kamala Harris?
Yeah, I'd love to debate both you guys on the economy. GDP's higher, jobs is higher, wages is higher. The stock market's up huge under Biden. This idea of what you guys are talking about, there's more 2,000-day losses under President Trump than 500-day losses under Joe Biden. We should get the facts right on where the economy is. Bill, you do a great job on that. But we know that Friday was, if not for the outstanding 15 million plus jobs of the Biden-Harris campaign over the last 3.5 years, 140,000 less plus is normal jobs. There's not going to be a recession. I actually think that there's a possibility that we're going to have the August numbers look incredibly strong.
Well, a lot of those recovery jobs coming back. We know that. But listen, the markets are spooked at the end of last week based on that job.
Well, and you know
the markets were scooped.
But amidst all of that, I wasn't expecting a full opinion piece outlining the stark differences between both candidates. In an article titled Kamala Harris is a once-in-a-generation candidate and this is a once-in-a-generation moment by Antoine Seawright, the focus was very much on the future forecast of a Harris presidency compared to the medieval outlook of the former president, which, as we know, has helped coin one of the best campaign slogans in modern American politics.
And we are not going back. We're not going back.
Okay, so hold on, let me pause this one now. Now check this out. Yes, we do have some information about that. Now, J.D. Vance saying he wants to revoke citizenship. Let's take a listen to that. I didn't find the video yet, but I will. Let's see here. Yes, that's it right there. So let's see. Is it this one? Boom, there we go.
Yes, J.D. Vance, the Republican senator from Ohio, made headlines with a controversial proposal that suggested revoking U.S. citizenship from certain individuals. Context and details. Proposal. Vance proposed the idea of stripping U.S. citizenship from natural-born citizens if their parents were undocumented immigrants. This idea is rooted in a broader debate over birthright citizenship, which is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Background on birthright citizenship. 14th Amendment. The amendment states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. This has traditionally been interpreted to grant citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil, regardless of their parents' immigration status. Vance's argument. Rationale. Vance and some other proponents of this view argue that birthright citizenship incentivizes illegal immigration, and that it should be restricted to children of citizens and lawful permanent residents. Criticism and legal challenges. Constitutional debate. Legal scholars and civil rights advocates argue that such a proposal would violate the 14th Amendment. Changing this interpretation would likely require a constitutional amendment, which is a complex and difficult process. Human rights concerns. Critics also argue that revoking citizenship from individuals born in the U.S. would create stateless persons and undermine basic human rights principles. Status. Legislation. As of now, no such legislation has been passed or widely accepted. the idea remains controversial and faces significant legal and political hurdles. JD, Vance's proposal reflects ongoing debates about immigration policy and citizenship in the United States.
Okay, now let me ask you something, Pumpkin. JD Vance's his wife, was she a citizen at the time her child became a citizen?
I
Do you
don't
know
know.
that?
To be honest,
Let me find that out. Let
I
me see.
haven't looked it up.
Okay. Let me see if they have something on that. Okay, she was born in the United States.
He's a jackass. I think he's just saying stuff to say stuff.
She's not naturalized, because that means you're born outside. That means you're a child of a U.S. citizen born outside of the U.S. But she's born inside of the U.S. And so he wants to revoke the citizenship of persons that were born in the U.S. Is that what?
I guess that is
Okay.
what it means.
Okay. Let me see something here. Let me see. Did Donald Trump's okay, hold on. Did, I don't even know how you spell her name. Melania Trump.
Melania.
Citizenship at the time she gave birth to Donald Trump's son. Let's see here. Oh, she did. Look. Okay, so she became naturalized, so she wasn't born in the country, right? Now, and her child. So let me find out. Let me see something. Does JD Vance want to revoke citizenship to naturalized citizens of the USA? Let's see here. Okay, well, it says here that it's just about undocumented immigrants, a stance that aligns with broader debate over the 14th Amendment. However, there's no indication that he's proposing revoking naturalized. Okay, so that's a little different. Birthright citizens. Vance has advocated for ending the automatic grant of citizenship to children born on U.S. soil to parents who are in the country illegally. This position is a common talking point among certain conservative circles, aimed to address what they perceive as loophole encouraging illegal immigration. Naturalized citizens. There is no evidence or public statement from Vance suggesting that he supports revoking the citizenship of individuals who have gone through the naturalization process. Naturalization, well, here's the thing. This is the thing. This is my question. He's saying that if you came into the country as a illegal immigrant, is that what he's saying? And you had a child, that they should not get birthright citizenship, right? Because that's a loophole to getting citizenship. But is getting married a loophole to citizenship?
Sure.
You can get married, you can be married, but why should you become a citizen just because you're married? You can live in the country, you can be a permanent resident. Nobody says you have to become a U.S. citizen to live in the United States. You don't. Would that be considered a loophole? I would like to ask him that, but there are some media outlets that are claiming more, and sometimes the chat GDP doesn't show everything. So I just want to make sure. Okay, let me see. Ongoing debates, citizenship policy, Vance New York Times offers. Okay, let me see here. Let me go over to CNN real quick and see if they covered this.
CNN is for him.
Okay, they didn't cover it. Let me see. I just want to see if they had some
You'd
specific
be best to go
articles.
to MSNBC.
MSNBC?
Yeah, try MSNBC.
Okay, let me see here. Let me just try to go over here and come out of this. By the way, anybody can hop up on the panel if they have any insight they want to offer. It's best that you hop up on the panel because then we get a chance to hear your voice. Where we don't have to, sometimes chatting, people don't necessarily communicate directly and kind of misdirect. So I find that when people hop up on the panel, we get direct answers faster. So take your opportunity to hop up on the panel. Let your voice be heard. Don't be shy. Let me see here. Let me go back to this one. Let me go backwards. Now, I did see that they did have an engagement between JD Vance and a reporter recently on that topic. And I'm just trying to figure out now, am I in the Midas Touch thing right here? I'm trying to wait a second. Okay, I think I know who it was now. Okay, I'm coming up on it. Defend Israel. Okay. Is it Trump has major fail during? Okay, I think I'm getting close to it actually right here. Oh, and by the way, folks, there's been 3 Arizona Republicans, lawmakers that have come out for Kamala Harris and against Trump. And as a matter of fact, let's watch this.
Tomorrow is a huge day for the Kamala Harris campaign. The vice president is expected to name her running mate before she begins a barnstorming tour of battleground states on Tuesday. Harris and her new vice presidential pick are scheduled to be in Phoenix on Friday. Yesterday, the vice president met with 3 of the top contenders. A source close to discussions tells NBC News there are more meetings scheduled today, with the announcement coming tomorrow. Multiple sources close to the campaign tell NBC News that Harris's running mate will make their debut at a rally in Philadelphia tomorrow, and that the announcement most likely will come in a text that's sent to high-ranking Democrats, which is the same way they did it when President Biden picked Harris.
Now, some local high-profile Republicans are calling on voters to make Kamala Harris the next president of the United States for a simple reason. She's not Donald Trump.
12 News journalist Troy Lynch went to their event to see why they aren't voting for their own nominee.
One of the biggest reasons I'm voting for Kamala Harris, and I would have voted for Joe Biden, is that they are not Donald Trump.
Not every Arizona Republican is voting red for the next president.
We are here to send a clear message. Arizonans are rejecting Donald Trump and his failed leadership.
Notable Grand Canyon state Republicans like Mesa Mayor John Giles, former state rep Robin Shaw, and former Scottsdale Mayor Sam Campana, all giving their endorsement to Kamala Harris rather than former President Donald Trump. It's a path that can be fraught. Republicans around the country have come out against the former president, dealing with primary opponent, negative ads, and even death threats. Sam Campana believes speaking out is worth the risk.
Another Trump term with J.D. Vance would be far worse and would lead our country down a path that I don't think we could ever recover from.
Mayor Giles believes that Harris will advocate for middle-class Americans, make sure billionaires pay their share of taxes, and secure the southern border.
I know that she will work in good faith with Republicans in Congress to address a congressional legislative fix to our broken border and immigration system.
Shaw says she voted for Trump in the past.
Looking back, I regret that vote.
The 3 questioning the former president's character and ethics, calling on Republicans to choose country over party and truth over lies.
Those experiences shape my vision for a better Arizona, one that priorities around environmental stewardship, cultural enrichment, and strong community values.
We reached out to the Arizona GOP, who's expressed their support for Trump, but we did not hear back. For 12 News, I'm Troy Lynch.
All right, Troy, thank you. And meanwhile, the Trump Force 47 is launching in Arizona with the grand opening of a new office in Phoenix. Now, this group is run by the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee. It says it's designed to make it easier for people who support Mr. Trump to volunteer to help his campaign. We have a 12 News crew that is tracking this story, and we will bring you the very latest coming up on 12 News at
All right, and now here is some more Republicans that suddenly are not supporting Trump.
Anything on the Veep stakes yet?
I got nothing for you, man.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Well, experts watching this election season evolve believe the front runners for Kamala Harris's VP are Governor Shapiro, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Good evening. I'm Alicia Richards.
And I'm Seth Kaplan in for Valerie. The presidential race is shaping up to be a close one.
Including in Pennsylvania. Tonight, a group of Republicans are working to steer the Commonwealth toward Kamala Harris. Evan Papalis joins us live from the state capitol. Republicans, Evan.
Yeah, Alicia, Seth, Republicans, the Pennsylvania Republicans for Harris are trying to get red voters to go blue this election.
I want to welcome you to the launch of Pennsylvania Republicans for Harris.
Its goal?
Over the next 3 months, we will be recruiting fellow Pennsylvania Republicans who share our conviction that patriotism requires placing country over party. And never before has doing so been more important than the imperative to keep Donald Trump from returning to the White House.
Former U.S. Congressman Jim Greenwood calls himself a lifelong Republican.
I have supported every single Republican candidate for president, from Richard Nixon all the way through to Romney.
This time around is different, not showing any love towards former President Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is a malignant narcissist and a pathological liar and a con man who is unfit to be the president of the United States.
Republican analyst Christopher Nicholas of Eagle Consulting says it's common for nominees to bring in folks from the other political party.
This is one of the reasons that campaigns do this, Evan, is get people from the other party to come out for them. You know, Republicans for the Democrat nominee, Democrats for the Republican nominee. Because the hope is that swing voters will take their attacks more seriously than those from members of the other party.
Plenty of current Republican officials are standing with the former president.
Go Donald Trump. Let's win on to victory. God bless Pennsylvania. God bless America.
We need Donald J. Trump back in the White House.
Former Republican chair of Lancaster County, Ann Womble, has been in politics since she was a teenager.
I became a Republican on my 18th birthday.
Womble refers to herself as a Reagan-style conservative, but she changed parties when Trump became the Republican nominee in 2016.
I actually changed my registration to independent. So I am a registered independent and have been for 8 years, but I consider my political philosophy very much center-right.
Both candidates will be hoping to gain independent voters, especially in Pennsylvania, which is expected to play a major role on who wins.
In Pennsylvania as a whole, we are on the needle's edge here.
And Harris will be in Philadelphia tomorrow. Her and former President Trump have been glued to Pennsylvania over the recent weeks. Democrats have actually won the majority of the vote in Pennsylvania in 7 of the last 8 presidential elections. At the state capitol, Evan Papalis, ABC 27 News.
Here's the big secret about women.
All right. So let's see here. Yeah, let me see here. What is this about? Let's go back here. Bombshell, right. Here it is, the court decision.
Their meal ticket here. What happened to them instead?
They lost. And this is a really, really important case that the RNC lost. I know what people are thinking. They're thinking, well, this is some voting case in Mississippi. No, this is the case that the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C. sent their high-priced lawyers from Washington, D.C. down to Mississippi to try to win when nobody was noticing, because they thought they had an inside track to undermine vote by mail around the country. And my legal team.
Now, this is important. Apparently, they've tried this in 5 different states. And guess who it affects the most? Military people. Military people. Watch how they explain this. Military, and it's ridiculous because military people by law have the right to vote where they are. It doesn't have to be their home address where taxes are taken from and things like that by law. But listen to these facts here.
We saw this case. We spotted it for what it was. We got when nobody. This is some voting case in Mississippi. No, this is the case that the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C. sent their high-priced lawyers from Washington, D.C. down to Mississippi to try to win when nobody was noticing because they thought they had an inside track to undermine vote by mail around the country. And my legal team, we saw this case, we spotted it for what it was. We got into that case on behalf of some really good voting organizations. We beat them. And so that is a big win, not just for voters in Mississippi, but around the country.
So basically, to clarify for this case, they wanted to say that any mail-in ballots that arrived after Election Day were unconstitutional, could be discarded, and then they wanted to use that as the predicate to then get a nationwide injunction against counting any ballots across the entire country after Election Day. So if that was the case, what impact would that have had on the election?
It would have had a dramatic impact. I mean, you'd be talking about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of ballots not counting, like literally being thrown in the trash, right? People who otherwise cast lawful votes, but because the post office was slow, or because, they're in a state that doesn't have drop boxes, or because, whatever reason, their lawful votes wouldn't have counted. And Brian, just to tell you how big of an issue this is, they have tried this lawsuit in Illinois. They tried it in North Dakota. They've tried it in Nevada. In Nevada, they brought the Trump campaign in, right? In Nevada, they're suing. It was the RNC and the Trump campaign itself brought a lawsuit. They lost in Nevada. Their plan was, we're going to bring this case in Mississippi. It won't attract the attention that it does in a bunch of these other states. And maybe we sneak it by. And then it goes up to the Fifth Circuit, right? If it gets appealed, it goes up to the Fifth Circuit. And we all know, Brian, what happens from there. So this was a big stinging loss by a conservative judge appointed by President Bush, who just rejected their case from start to finish. And so I'm hoping it puts an end to this nonsense, dangerous theory that they have. Although, we all know that they specialize in dangerous nonsense theories.
Mark, just to clarify here, was it your firm that represented the party in this case?
Here's how Atera takes your team's IT efficiency from good to okay.
2 seconds, y'all. Let's see here. Boom. There we go.
There's nonsense theories.
Mark, just to clarify here, was it your firm that represented the party in this case?
Yeah. So what happened is, they bring this case against Mississippi. This is actually really interesting. There was a really insightful piece on Democracy Docket that one of the reporters wrote about this. They brought this case against Mississippi as, like I said, to try to bring a test case. The Republicans in Mississippi, I think, weren't in on the plan originally because they're like, oh, wait, the RNC doesn't want this law. We'll just repeal the law.
This is breaking news about a case that the RNC lost regarding voting.
So they start the process of being like, oh,
and RNC is like, no, keep the law.
Right. So literally the Mississippi legislature starts passing a repeal, and the RNC is like, no, don't do that, because we want to be able to bring this case and just win easily. So what happened is, my law firm, we were contacted by some plaintiffs. We jumped in, or defendants actually, we jumped in to defend this law because we're afraid like Mississippi may not, although in fairness to Mississippi, they did defend the law. But we jumped in on behalf of our clients to protect this law after they contacted us. And that wound up being the thing that defeated it on the merits. This, for all of the right wingers out there who are always like, oh, Elias, he wins on standing, or this procedure. This was on the merits. The court, the judge found on the merits that the RNC lawsuit was wrong. It was wrong on the law.
Well, again, that underscores the importance of the work that you and your team are doing right now in the courts. So for those watching, a very small step that we can all take to support this invaluable work is to sign up for Democracy Docket. It's the free news outlet Mark founded to focus on everything voting in elections. I'll put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. Again, doesn't cost us anything. It is just a small step to show some support for this very important work that Mark and his team are doing. Mark, what kinds of voters would be most impacted if this law got struck down?
Now, listen to this.
Okay, so I'd put it into two categories. The first is that we know that these ballot receipt deadline laws, which is what we call them, they disproportionately affect young voters and minority voters. Why? Because those two are the two populations that tend to have the worst mail service. They also oftentimes cast their ballots later, closer to election day, rather than earlier. So demographically, that's sort of one way to think about it. The other is that it would greatly impact overseas and military voters. So one of the things about this effort is the people who oftentimes rely on these deadlines are members of the uniformed military and their families who are stationed overseas, and they really have very slow mail service. They have very slow mail service. So this is part of a disturbing trend by Republicans and their allies to do things that, frankly, really target in negative ways our men and women serving in uniform overseas. We have, this effort on these laws. We saw after 2022, a lawsuit by some conservatives to literally try to throw out overseas military ballots. And my law firm, we got involved and defeated that. And of course, most recently in Michigan, we have seen a lawsuit by the Republican Party to try to say that veterans can't get registered at the VA. I mean, why on earth would Republicans target veterans trying to get registered at the VA?
Mark, this is also bizarre to me because we've been told that the Republicans are the party of the military and and they beat their chests about supporting the troops. So something just isn't adding up here. It is so bizarre that the party of the military, just like how they're the party of family values, the party of states' rights, the party of fiscal responsibility, the party of the Constitution, doesn't seem to be able to comport with their own branding.
The party of Donald Trump is not the party of the military, and you know that, and I know that, right? This is a guy who denigrated war heroes, right? John McCain.
Yeah.
He called people who serve in the military suckers. Remember that?
Yeah.
He has shown nothing but contempt for people who have served their country. So is it any real surprise that his RNC, run by his handpicked chair and his vice chair, who is his daughter-in-law, who I know, and I always point out, you're a big fan of her music career.
Okay, so they're discussing a case that was just lost. The RNC filed a case and they just lost it, right? Where they wanted to stop late voting, like late arrival voting. Not meaning that, typically if you're abroad or you're in the military or you're in a place, what they go by is the date that you mailed the vote. And as long as you mail it before the election, then when they get it, it could be a day or two later or even a week later. They're still counting when these things come in. If it has a stamp on it that proves it was mailed before the election date, that they are to count those votes. Now, we're just going to fact check what the lawyer said here that won the case, that caused the RNC to lose their case, right? We're just going to fact check a few things that he said if people would like that, and also if you don't mind, but if you do mind, I'm going to do it anyway. But here, let's see here. The question was, are there known difficulties that arise from mail-in voters in the military or otherwise casting their votes? And this is what came up here. Let's see.
Mail-in voting while providing critical.
2 seconds. Is it up on the screen? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Mail-in voting while providing critical access to voters, such as military personnel and others who cannot vote in person, does face several challenges. Here are some known difficulties. Challenges for military voters. 1. Timing and delivery. Mail delays. Military personnel stationed overseas or in remote locations often face delays in receiving and returning their ballots, which can lead to missed deadlines. Transit time. The time it takes for mail to be delivered to and from overseas locations can be unpredictable, making it challenging to ensure that ballots are received and counted on time. 2. Logistical issues. Access to mail services. In conflict zones or aboard ships, access to mail services can be limited or sporadic, complicating the voting process. Address changes. Frequent relocations can result in ballots being sent to outdated addresses, leading to further delays and lost ballots. 3. Verification and security. Signature verification. Ensuring that the ballot signatures match those on file can be difficult, especially if voters' signatures have changed over time or if military voters are using different identification methods. Challenges for other mail-in voters. 1. Ballot completion and errors. Complexity. Ballots can be complex and confusing, leading to errors such as incomplete ballots or incorrectly filled out information. Instructions. Failure to follow instructions precisely can result in ballots being rejected. 2. Fraud concerns. Security. While rare, concerns about mail-in ballot fraud persist. Ensuring that ballots are not tampered with or falsely submitted is a critical aspect of election security. 3. Processing delays. Verification processes. The need to verify voter identity and the authenticity of ballots can slow down the counting process, leading to delays in election results. 4. Accessibility issues. Disabilities. Voters with disabilities may face challenges in completing and returning mail-in ballots without assistance, which may not be readily available. Specific examples. 1. 2018 midterm elections. During the 2018 midterms, military personnel faced significant challenges with mail delays and logistical issues, impacting their ability to vote on time. 2. 2020 presidential election. The COVID-19 pandemic led to a surge in mail-in voting, exposing systemic issues such as ballot processing delays and inconsistencies in mail service reliability. Efforts to mitigate challenges. 1. Federal Voting Assistance Program, FVA, provides resources and support to military and overseas voters to facilitate timely and accurate voting. 2. Electronic voting options. Some states have implemented electronic voting systems for military and overseas voters to reduce reliance on mail services. Addressing these challenges involves improving mail delivery reliability, streamlining ballot processing, and providing clear instructions and support to voters to ensure their votes are counted accurately and on time.
Lose related to voting. And yes, let's see here. What case did the RNC, what recent case, okay, what recent case did the RNC, let's see here. Okay, this is 2020, but let me see. Yo, Pumpkin, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, what was the state where they just lost this case?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay, let me ask that question again. What case did the RNC just lose? Hold on, let me type that. RNC just lose in Mississippi regarding voting. Let's see here. Maybe that's a better way to ask it. It might give a clearer answer. Okay, it's still returning information. Okay, let me see something. This is Mississippi Today. Let me just open that up and see if this is the case they're talking about.
It is about mail-in ballots.
It's about, yeah, but let me see something here. I just want to make sure I got the right case up here. It was in Mississippi, right? Statutory procedure counting lawfully cases, absentee ballots. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to put this in the chat just for people to check out. Now they filed it, but I want to make sure I put all of these listings in the chat for people to review in their own time. But let's see here. That was one. Now let's see. This is number 2, right? Is this the same one? No. Okay. We don't need that one. We need this one. Oh, all of these are Mississippi Today. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so
But-
let me go ahead. Yeah.
But there are other cases all over the country. Wisconsin, most of the battleground states, and they lost. And they went the RNC in Washington went to Mississippi to try to sneak it in.
Mm-hmm.
And Mississippi, the judge in Mississippi upheld it too. So
Right,
that's
right.
how they lost. That's how they found out what they were doing, because the judge, the guy that was speaking with the glasses, Mark Elias from Midas Touch, it was sent to him that what they were trying to do. In other words, they're trying to sneak stuff over, but people are paying attention. Project 2025, whoever leaked that was not supposed to tell. Somebody in Donald Trump's camp leaked it, and it got out. And ever since then, they've been being blocked with everything they're trying to do because people are actually paying attention to what they're doing. See, all of this is a part of Project 2025, but it's not working because it was exposed. Their choice for president was not a good choice. And then the choice for VP ain't much better either. So this is why everything is going downhill for Donald Trump. See, he was part of calling Joe Biden old, sleepy, let him retire, let him retire, let him retire, make him retire. He's too old, sleepy Joe, you know, the whole thing. And so my opinion is Joe Biden always knew he was going to resign to let it go. But he waited until Donald Trump got nominated, accepted the nomination. And then he waited until Vance, whatever, JD, VD, whatever, Vance, whatever his name is, they waited till he accepted the nomination, and then he put Harris up for it. So it was a strategic plan. The plan, Donald Trump won. He won the battle, but Joe Biden won the victory in my
Yeah, and actually, you know, the Joe Biden, he's not obligated to explain his timing at all. As long as his timing is according with the law, then that's what matters. And the Republicans, Donald Trump or the RNC, they're not obligated to explain why they do things as long as they follow the law. They can give whatever explanation they want, but they're not obligated to give one. You see, and but here's, let me just play this real quick. This is about the places where they tried to file these cases. Let's see
A
here.
federal judge recently rejected a challenge by the Republican National Committee, RNC, and other plaintiffs against Mississippi's practice of counting mail-in absentee ballots received up to 5 days after Election Day. U.S. District Judge Louis Girola ruled that the state's procedure, which allows absentee ballots postmarked on or before Election Day to be counted if they are received within 5 business days, is consistent with federal law and does not violate the Elections Clause, the Electors Clause, or federal election statutes. The plaintiffs argued that this extension violated federal regulations, asserting that only Congress has the authority to set rules for federal elections. However, Judge Girola found that Mississippi's law simply regulates the receipt and counting of ballots already cast by Election Day and does not infringe upon federal jurisdiction. This decision is significant as it upholds the absentee ballot counting process established during the COVID-19 pandemic and ensures that all ballots postmarked by Election Day are counted, provided they arrive within the specified period. 81 source.
Now,
82 source.
you see,
83 source.
this has always been a common practice, even for a person like myself. I live overseas. I vote, right? And I vote in the local elections in Washington, D.C. I vote for the federal elections for president, Senate, and these kind of things that occur in this same election cycle, right? Now, it says very simply the common practice, and I know this because this is how it's been for years. The common practice is, let's see here, a federal judge recently rejected a challenge. And when I say common, I mean this has been going on this has been a standard for decades, basically, right? Or at least a decade or more. A federal judge recently rejected a challenge by the Republican National Committee, RNC, and other plaintiffs against Mississippi's practice of counting mail-in absentee ballots received up to 5 days after Election Day. U.S. District Judge Louis Giorola ruled that the state's procedure, which allows absentee ballots postmarked on or before the election day, postmarked, you know what that is. That means they actually mark the exact time and date that you mail in your post. It doesn't matter what it is, but this is in reference specific to the ballots. Absentee ballots postmarked or on or before election day to be counted if they are received within 5 business days is consistent. This is consistent with federal law and does not violate election clause and electors clauses. This is ridiculous. So they actually tried to stop that, just a normal practice of voting. I'm not sure how many states have it, but when they say it's consistent with federal law, typically states would be following that unless they can win a case like this in a court. And apparently they haven't been winning these cases. And I think they got tired. What I'm getting from this is that they've tried this before. This time in Mississippi, they chose Mississippi because they thought they could do it on the low and it wouldn't raise any attention. And when the ruling came out, it became news. People, were fighting it. And a representative, you said he was a representative from the DNC, that lawyer? Or no?
No, he is a representative for the DNC. Yes, he's working with if I'm not mistaken, he's a civil rights lawyer, and
Right.
He's fighting voter suppression laws. And the DNC is he's back in the DNC on all of this because
Right.
basically what it is, it's Jasmine Crockett. She said it. Project 2025 is already in place, but if whoever leaked it, I don't know who leaked it. Nobody ever said who leaked it, but what I read was, and I can't find any of it because I send you the stuff what I see because I've been busy. So what happens is somebody leaked it, that what Project 2025 was, because nobody was paying attention to it until this person, whoever it was, it had to be somebody in the RNC who did it, who didn't think it was right, and they did it. But anyway, they leaked it, and now people are paying attention. People, as you notice, more people are reading it, and the more that comes out from it, the more, the more people. Most Democrats are going to Kamala Harris. That's why you have so many people going for Kamala Harris, because it was the blueprint for dictatorship, an overthrow of the United States government. And it was led by Stephen Miller, the goofy looking one with the bald head one. Mostly all of them that do all this nonsense, they all bald. They got problems with their hair. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I observed. But anyway, the whole thing is part of Project 2025, and that's what people are fighting against. They picked a bad candidate to try to implement it with. Because I think Donald Trump was the only one who fell for it. Because from what I read,
it's kind of like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
It's such an extreme agenda that only a fool like Trump would dare even associate.
Right. Because you have a lot of, conservative Republicans. George Bush, the son, as crazy as he was, I kind of liked him anyway. I don't know. I just thought I didn't think he was a good politician, but I thought he was a decent person. That's just me, you know. But anyway, Donald Trump was the worst one they could have picked, you know, because Donald Trump's mouth is like a sieve. It just leaks. It just leaks. He can't hold nothing. He tries his best. I give him that. He does try, but it just don't work. He can't. He for some reason he can't stay focused. He's on the cognitive decline, if you ask me.
Here's another individual who didn't like that the journalist at the Black Association for Press asked Donald Trump, did he and why did he call Kamala Harris DEI, right? A diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. And there's a lot of people that feel like that's not a question a journalist should ask Donald Trump. And so this user says, if you asking for an answer to answer well, stay away from questioning. Don't convict yourself just saying. Oh no, I'm not convicting myself. And here's the thing: all journalists want to know. Now, it's also been stated here very clearly. Let's go over to this again.
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is.
Give me a definition then. Would you give me a definition of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question.
No, you have to define it. Define it for me if you.
I just defined it, sir.
How do you?
So she was asking him a question, right? She didn't ask him, how do you define DEI? She asked him, did you claim that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire? That was the question posed to Trump. And it's very ironic because as a journalist, you would want to ask that question. And here's why. Because Donald Trump's campaign began calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire, diversity, equity, and inclusion hire, in early 2023. The term was used to criticize her appointment as vice president, suggesting that it was based more on her demographic characteristics than on merit. Now, when your campaign calls someone publicly in the news a DEI hire, quite naturally, you would question, why did they do that? And when Donald Trump was asked, why did you? He decided not to answer the question. He decided to ask the journalist, well, how do you define it? But it's not important how the journalist defines it, because it's you, Donald Trump, and your own campaign that have been using the term DEI for over a year, targeting Kamala Harris. So it's up to you to answer why you did. And if you have a definition that's different from what the definition actually is, you could also explain it. But he didn't want to explain it. He wanted to ask the journalist how she defines it, but she's not the one making the claim. So what is the point? There would be no point other than to divert from answering why you've been calling Kamala Harris a DEI. I mean, Donald Trump, I don't know if he knows this, but he comes off like a scared chicken shit. And by the way, for a person that thinks that Kamala Harris is not qualified, then why are you afraid to answer the question then? Why can't you just answer it?
Did you actually hear him say on one of those interviews, he said one of his campaign rallies, he said she was low IQ?
Let's see here. Yeah, right. Let's see here. Donald Trump claims Kamala Harris is or has a low IQ. Okay, let's see here.
Spelled low wrong. I don't think it's gonna come up. Oh yeah, it came
Yeah,
up.
here it is. Let's check. Let's check this.
You may not know this, but Japan is the second.
Oh God, here we go.
Now, look, we want to get people in. You know, we got 59 hostages. I never paid anything. They released some of the greatest killers anywhere in the world, some of the most evil killers they got, and we got our people.
Oh, yeah. And did you hear Biden was asked about this? And Biden asked, why didn't Trump do it when he was president? Yeah. And why didn't Trump do it when he was president? Isn't he a good friend of Putin? How come he didn't get them out?
He said that Putin would only do it for him.
Yeah, but he didn't do it for him when he was president. Or did Donald Trump not ask?
Donald Trump didn't ask. He didn't try to get them people out.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be both. It has to be one or the other. It has to be either he asked and Putin said no, or he didn't ask. And so Putin didn't say anything.
Putin didn't say no to him. He didn't ask because he wanted his people back. The one Donald Trump claims was big murderers and all that other old crazy shit. See, Donald Trump just lied. He got caught. He keep getting the more he talks, the more the more
yeah,
people
he's getting
leave.
caught. Yeah, he's getting caught in simpleton lies, you know. But let's hear him call Kamala Harris, say Kamala Harris had a low IQ. Let's see.
Go back, but boy, we make some horrible, horrible deals, and it's nice to say we got them back. But does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Right? Does that set a bad precedent, Bert? Harris has the most ultra left wing agenda of any presidential candidate ever in history. There's never been anybody like this. She is considered more left wing than crazy Bernie Sanders. Look at her. She's worse than Bernie. And she happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really does. She has a very low IQ.
We're going to find that out. You know, I would really like him to debate Kamala Harris. I believe, you know, my personal opinion. Well, what do you think about that? Do you think, I mean, of course, in my view, the proper thing to do, right, is for Trump to attend the debate that he agreed to show up to, right? And there was he can claim that, you know, I thought I was debating Biden, but if she's got a low IQ, what's the problem?
Yeah, he ain't gonna touch that woman. You know that.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. I think Kamala Harris should, you know, she should show up to the ABC debate. And if Donald Trump doesn't want to show up, they already said they're going to give her the time and ask her the questions, and she can answer all the questions she wants. And of course, there's probably going to be mail-in questions from RNC Republicans and things like that. And there will be Republicans in the audience as well, right? Now, here's the thing. I think she should do that. And then after, I think she should take Trump up on his offer and do it on Fox. Because here's the thing. I believe she's strong enough. You can't trick. There's only so many games you can play, you know, in these kind of things. I mean,
does he have any game left? You think he has game left?
I don't think he does, man. Fox is already turning on him. Fox wants to be seen as a legitimate news agency again.
They don't want to be sued no more. That's what.
Yeah, they lost $1 billion.
Again, they going out of business.
Exactly. They just lost $1 billion for a lawsuit. You know, and I also thought they lost their billions. Yeah, billions. And I also
thought you said million.
No, billions. But I also think they lost their accreditation at that time as a news agency too.
Yeah.
And I think
trash.
Right.
News, that's all.
Yeah, so I think they want that kind of. I don't know if they got the accreditation back as a news agency, but they damn sure didn't get their respect back. They're not seen as a news agency. They're not.
It is. They didn't lose the. They didn't lose it, but what it is, their credibility was shot because they also own the New York Post, and that's considered a rag paper on the level of the National Enquirer, which used to be the rag paper, you know. And nobody listens to Fox News. Actually, the Fox channel, Fox News used to be my what I listened to in the morning. I used to listen to it all the time. Then I went to ABC in the morning because so Fox lost a lot of credibility. But the thing I think
they didn't lose their accreditation. They just it's just the
they
credibility.
lost their credibility. But I think the main thing with Fox now, they can't take another defamation lawsuit because if you notice, they have people who are fact checking Trump, and people are not holding on to the lies anymore.
Oh, that's what it was about. They promoted some lies that they lost.
With the Dominion, they said that the machines were switching votes from Trump to Biden. That's how we won. That's how the election was stolen, and that was what Mike Lindell, the crackhead who became a millionaire with his hard ass pillows, and Rudy Giuliani wanting this. I don't know what the hell he wanted to do with his. I don't know. He
lost the case too. Giuliani lost his own case also.
Yes, and
a separate case.
And he lost his. He was filing for something, bankruptcy or something, and the judge told him, no, you got to pay Shay Moss and her mother, Ruby Freeman, Miss Ruby, they got to pay them their money. And so his assets are being, Letitia James, they're taking his assets and selling them off. So he lost everything. And he has been disbarred from to practice law. He can't practice law in New York anymore. And more than likely, any other state he goes to will uphold that because from what I read, I didn't know this, but the American Bar Association has a high level of, for you to be accepted into the bar, you have to have a high level of integrity and be above.
Oh yeah, you have a.
I just found that out. Rudy.
It's the same. It's the same thing for all lawyers, judges, all of them. And they can be disbarred over this, and judges can also be disbarred or kicked off the bench. There's ethics. It's ethic clauses when you're on the bar. But
ethics, the ethical standards.
Right. They have to sign, they have to agree to the ethical standards. And but I'm curious about Trump supporters. What do they think about Fox News losing that case? Now, let's just play it back in case people were not aware. Here we go.
Fox News lost a significant civil case due to its promotion of false claims related to the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The network faced a defamation lawsuit from Dominion Voting Systems, a company that provides voting technology. Here's a summary of the key points. Dominion Voting Systems lawsuit. 1. Allegations of defamation. False claims. Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News for defamation, alleging that the network had falsely claimed that Dominion's machines were involved in widespread voter fraud during the 2020 election. Specific accusations. Fox News aired numerous segments suggesting that Dominion's machines had flipped votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden, among other baseless accusations. 2. Legal arguments. Malice or reckless disregard. Dominion needed to prove that Fox News acted with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth, which is a high legal standard in defamation cases involving public figures or issues of public concern. Evidence. Dominion presented evidence including internal communications from Fox News employees, indicating that some at the network knew the claims were false or had serious doubts about their veracity, but continued to broadcast them. 3. Settlement. Financial settlement. In April 2023, Fox News agreed to settle the lawsuit for $787.5 million, just before the trial was set to begin. This settlement is one of the largest ever for a defamation case. Impact and implications. 1. Financial impact. The settlement amount of $787.5 million represents a substantial financial penalty for Fox News, although it is less than the $1.6 billion originally sought by Dominion. 2. Reputation and editorial practices. The case has had significant implications for Fox News' reputation, raising questions about its journalistic practices and editorial standards. It may lead to changes in how the network handles similar situations in the future to avoid further legal and financial repercussions. 3. Broader media landscape. The case has served as a warning to other media outlets about the potential legal risks of disseminating false information, particularly when it can harm the reputation of individuals or companies. Overall, the Dominion lawsuit and its substantial settlement underscore the serious consequences that can arise from broadcasting false information, especially in the highly sensitive context of electoral integrity and democracy.
And you know what? That case was in 2020. So that's the last election cycle. And them losing that case is going to make sure that they report the actual news about the election and the voting this time around, because if they dare attempt to do something like that again, it will be 1.6 billion. It's going to be the end of Fox News. And notice this is the other thing. Notice how Trump has a consistent theme of challenging votes, lying about voting, and it even seems like he's already about to embark on the same thing again, where he's even said it. He's even suggested that, that the vote is rigged or things like this. Now, let me see. There was one other case that Rudy Giuliani that resulted from the 2020 election that he lost that was recent. And do you know what's the name of the woman that he lost to in court? She got like what, 150 million.
No, it was her and her daughter, Mrs. Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss. They were election workers.
Freeman and Shay Moss win a civil case against Donald, against Rudy Giuliani, attorney for Donald Trump.
Yep,
Let me make sure I put that in there so the response will come back. It might mention a little bit of that if he was associated with Donald Trump or doing any legal work for him at that time. I know he was, but I just want to see if it's associated also with this specific case. Now, for those of you that don't know, Shay Moss and who is it? Ruby what?
Freeman.
Her
mother. That's her mother.
Right. They won a case against Rudy Giuliani for, what is it? Is it 200 million or $150 million?
It says it in here because I
okay. All right, so let's play it back. Here we go.
Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, two Georgia election workers, won a civil case against Rudy Giuliani, attorney for Donald Trump, because Giuliani made false and defamatory statements about them in the aftermath of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Here's a detailed explanation. Background 1. False accusations. Election fraud claims. Rudy Giuliani and other Trump allies falsely accused Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss of engaging in election fraud during the 2020 election. They alleged that the two women, who were seen in a video from a Georgia ballot counting site, had manipulated ballots to favor Joe Biden. Specific allegations. The claims included accusations that Freeman and Moss had handled suitcases of illegal ballots and engaged in various forms of voter fraud. 2. Consequences for Freeman and Moss. Harassment and threats. As a result of these false claims, Freeman and Moss faced significant harassment, including death threats and other forms of intimidation, causing severe emotional and reputational damage.
Bring it down a little. Bring it up a little bit.
1. Defamation lawsuit. Filing the suit. Freeman and Moss filed a defamation lawsuit against Giuliani, arguing that his false statements had caused them significant harm. Defamation elements. To succeed in a defamation case, The plaintiffs needed to prove that Giuliani made false statements about them, that these statements were made with actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth, and that the statements caused them harm. The two, Giuliani's admissions. Court admissions. In July 2023, Giuliani conceded that he had made false statements about Freeman and Moss and did not contest their claims that his statements were defamatory. This admission was a key factor in the court ruling in favor of Freeman and Moss. Number 3, court ruling and damages. Liability. With Giuliani's admission, the court found him liable for defamation. Damages. The court case proceeded to determine the amount of damages Giuliani would be required to pay. While specific financial details may vary, the ruling underscored the serious nature of the harm caused to Freeman and Moss. Impact 1. Reputational damage. Vindication. The court's ruling served as a public vindication for Freeman and Moss, acknowledging the wrongful nature of the accusations against them and the severe impact these had on their lives. 2. Legal precedent. Accountability. The case highlights the legal accountability for spreading false information that harms individuals, especially in the politically charged context of election integrity. 3. Broader implications. Deterrent effect. This ruling may act as a deterrent to other public figures and media personalities from making baseless allegations that can lead to severe personal and professional consequences for ordinary citizens. In summary, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss won their civil case against Rudy Giuliani due to his admitted false and defamatory statements that caused them significant harm, culminating in a legal victory that underscored the serious repercussions of spreading misinformation.
And what was the how much did they get paid? How much? Because I know that here it is right here. Here, let me pull it up for everybody. Let's see here. Skip. Here we go.
Wait,
on.
let me say this before you start. What they didn't, what this the chat didn't tell you is that the only woman in the Georgia case, the black girl that's in the Georgia case with him, she actually took Ruby Freeman to a police station and threatened her and told her that people were going to come after her. See, that's what did it too. They didn't tell it all. That's what did it.
Yeah, they threatened her life. They threatened her life.
They threatened her life. She told her if you didn't change it, that they wanted her to admit they tried that black girl, Travion Cutie Cuddy, whatever her name is, the one that's down there in Georgia, the only woman. She also tried to intimidate her, and they had to leave their house because they were getting actual death threats, and people were coming to their door. The FBI told them they had to leave. So this thing is going to get very, very nasty because he's not going to win. But I think this time the whole thing, the scenario will be much different than it was in 2020. I think because they're not going to let it go as far as it went before.
They're already prepared. They already expect this. You can do it once and people have the opportunity to see. He got an opportunity to make all his claims in court, to make all his statements in the public. All those things got adjudicated. And now there's been penalties and fines where they have admitted or found that they were guilty as charged. Right. Now, I'm wondering, how do Trump supporters feel about this kind of behavior? Do they think
they don't give a shit? They ain't got rocks.
But do they? No. But maybe some of them don't even know about it, and the people that are watching. I'm saying because listen. There's often some Trump supporters that do come here and they learn things. They're not always aware, So I'm just curious about this particular case. Like, how do they feel? Like, do they feel that it's okay to threaten election workers, people that are just regular people, average everyday people that are doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, just counting the votes as they sit as they present themselves. Is it okay to threaten workers? And if it was them and they were threatened by a political party or operatives from a political party, would they think that that was okay? So I'm just curious because go ahead.
No, I was going to say their base. The base is the Appalachian, whatever what we call white trash. That's the vote they got, because all the ones that got sent you any common sense and got a brain and that think, they're all voting for them. They said they've been lifelong Republicans, but they can't vote for Donald Trump. It's not that they agree with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden.
Yeah, but I see what you mean. Yeah, you mean
So
the
they're
moderates. The moderates
yeah,
have left. The
right,
moderates
the
have
ones
left
with
the
the
Republican
sense.
Party.
That's what I call them.
Right.
The ones that
Yeah,
got
yeah.
sense. SENSE, not CENT.
What you're saying is the ones, and it's been your observation that the ones that are left are the ones that just don't care about the law
ones,
or
no,
people's
those
rights
are
at
the
all.
ones. Those are the people. Like, okay, in Appalachia, however you say it, and the ones in West Virginia, they vote against the younger people. Well, we'll take West Virginia, Joe Manchin's country. They will vote for Trump. They're poor. It's a poor town, and the younger people are trying to get into office to change it. They're trying to get rid of Mitch McConnell, but they'll keep voting for that old man. Now, if anybody need to go sit down, he need to go. His time is gone. The man done had 2 strokes standing up, lying and talking, and he's still doing the same shit, and they still voting the man in. I don't get it. Those are the people who will vote for Trump.
It seems like
the neo-Nazis, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, all them stupid ass shit, all that old militia stuff, craziness. Because there's an old guy, I don't even know, and not Texas Pete, it's an old guy from western something, the western area of Texas. He's voting for Kamala because he can't stand Abbott and them. So you got people that's thinking, but all of them are leaving. But the ones who sticking behind Donald Trump, that's the problem. That's the old Ku Klux Klan members.
they don't care about the rights.
Right. They
don't care about the rights of
Donald
citizens.
Right. There you go.
Right. Yeah, they don't care about the rights of the civil
So
rights
the
of
people,
citizens.
the people who understand what Donald Trump is about, they leaving. They going to Kamala because they don't want to back in, because American democracy will be lost. America ain't the greatest country. It got a lot to be desired, but it's the lesser of the 2 evil. Because I'll be damned if they want to even take your pension. See, Project 2025.
Yeah, the U.S. in terms of this kind of stuff, the U.S. I mean, it's struggling to get American citizens are, when it comes to social benefits, democratic social on a social democracy standard. The U.S. citizens are struggling to get the basic rights that other NATO nations have already had for essentially a lifetime now, for 50, 70 years almost. I mean, healthcare,
decent healthcare,
pension, education, access to education, free access to education, paid. They get paid in a lot of these states. And if not, it's just totally free. It seems like, I know this because I've experienced both sides of it in the U.S. and outside. So, I'm American, but I live outside of the U.S. And a lot of the benefits that I get, just that the average citizen gets here where I am in Copenhagen, in Denmark, average American just doesn't have. It's just sad. I mean, I'm talking about basic ones. And I love the U.S. There's things that I love, the diversity in the U.S. That makes everything so much more exciting. You don't have to eat the same food every day. You don't have to go to the same type of parties every day with the same music every day. You get all the variety the world has to offer at your fingertips. That's what I love about the U.S. I love that. But But the problem is that when it comes to what you pay in taxes versus what you get back from your taxes, there's a problem there. It doesn't match. It's not matching up. It's struggling. But I commend the lawmakers in the House and in the Senate, and also on the state level, that fight for these rights for American citizens, that are aware that other NATO nations already have these things figured out. I commend them for trying to educate the public and being in for the fight, because we of all people, Americans, deserve it. United States citizens just simply deserve it. And we contribute a lot to the world. We contribute a lot to our allies. We should have, at the bare minimum, these things that our allies have already figured out how to provide to their citizens. But go ahead. I want to rock this, but go ahead. Let me let you get the last word on that. Go ahead.
But anyway, the thing as far as pension, people pay into their pension. I paid into my pension. I paid into my Social Security. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let somebody take it. And he talking about black jobs, that the immigrants are taking black jobs. They ain't taking nothing no black person.
But check this out.
We've been there and we've done that. We've worked in the fields. We've worked our way up to college degrees, Fortune 500 companies, being doing business, being supervisors, being everything but damn migrant workers. So who the hell is black job? But that's all I got to say, because I can go on and on about why the hell it shouldn't be.
Well, what I mean by pension is that, like where I'm living, right, outside of the U.S., everybody, when any kind of job you have, pays into a pension. Any type of job. And we're not talking about Social Security. We're talking about pension. Your pension. You see what I mean? And they have these, it's obligated, you're obligated. Every type of job, if it's not if you're not an independent contractor or something like that, all the jobs here, even McDonald's, it's a union, it goes by union rules, and pension is part of the union rules here. You see what I mean? And guess what? We pay the same taxes. Hard-working Americans pay every single day of their life. We pay the same thing, yet we're getting this already built into the package. And more American citizens need to know this stuff. They need to know it, because some of these politicians talk about America, the U.S., like it's broke. Some of them talk about it like, hey, there's no way to figure out how to make sure everyone is a part of a union, or that unions regulate how private industry needs to operate in terms of safety, in terms of pension. Guess what? Guess what the average workday here, with the same taxes I pay to somebody in New York, somebody in LA, Los Angeles, somebody in Atlanta, all these big cities, right? Guess we pay the same in taxes, but guess what? Check this part out. Do you get leave, guaranteed 5-week leave? Yeah, I do. Do you get that? Somebody at McDonald's here gets guaranteed 5 weeks leave. Everybody in the whole country gets guaranteed 5 weeks leave from work, paid leave. How can that be? You see what I'm saying? There's other things. When you have a child, each child, the family gets 1 year. The parents get 1 year off from work. They have to split it. The two parents have to split it. If it's one parent, you get one. If it's two parents, you split the year. You can decide. You can give it all to your wife, or you could give it all to your husband, or you could split it. You could do it 6-6. That's your business how you do it. But everybody gets that here for the same taxes, and I really want my American brothers and sisters of any background, no matter what your background is, to understand you deserve it too, because you are living in the wealthiest, most powerful nation that has ever existed on the face of this earth. You have to understand that. And that's what your voting is about. Your voting is about how your tax dollars are going to be spent. But if you don't even have a way of knowing how tax dollars are spent in your allies' countries and fellow NATO's countries, the politicians, some of these politicians in the U.S., will have you thinking you're owed much less and that it's impossible and that you deserve far less than others. So let me play this. Let's get back to this Ruby and Shay Moss, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, so people can hear the reaction to the verdict of them winning and how much they won. They won $148 million because Rudy Giuliani, after the 2020 election, persisted in trying to say that they were committing election fraud, and it destroyed their life, and they had people threatening their life. Here it is, y'all. Let's hope it does not happen again.
There is news to tell you about in the Rudy Giuliani defamation trial. Let's bring in NBC News justice correspondent Ryan Riley. Ryan, I am told we have a verdict.
That's true. The verdict just came in. The jury is coming in to the courtroom now. Judge Howell took the bench and told the parties that the jury has reached a unanimous verdict here. So in just a few moments, we should be finding out if this jury has imposed what Rudy Giuliani's lawyers have described as the civil equivalent of the death penalty here in this case, given the impact that could have on his life. Rudy Giuliani is not a rich man at this point in stage in his life. So it's a question of whether or not they'll be able to collect on those financial penalties that the jury will be imposing here shortly, and what the extent of those financial penalties are going to be. But, if this is the civil death penalty, what I can tell you is, based on some of our other reporting, that Rudy Giuliani's last meal was a cheeseburger.
Indeed. Remind us, we've been talking multi-million dollars. What is it that they are asking for here?
So they're asking for $24 million for each of these plaintiffs, saying that's how much it would require to repair the reputational damage that was done to them as a result of these lies that were being spread. On top of that, the jury could impose an additional penalty to sort of discourage other people from committing this sort of conduct in the future, sort of to send a message, as the plaintiff's lawyer described here, that other people can't be spreading these baseless lies about innocent election workers who did nothing wrong, and making these bizarre claims when, reality, the video shows them handing over a ginger mint, for example. One of the claims that Giuliani made was that they were exchanging a USB drive, and he compared them to drug dealers. And, he also compared them to bank robbers at one point. That one of the plaintiffs in this case, Shay Moss, argued that that's what Rudy Giuliani thinks of when he sees black people, when he sees black voters. His mind goes there immediately.
I want to bring into our conversation MSNBC's Lisa Rubin, who has snuck on set as we received this breaking news. Lisa, you and I have talked about this before, but I think it is worth revisiting how these numbers are set, how you assess reputational damage.
Sure. So Ashley Humphreys, who's the expert in this case, essentially tries to reverse engineer it, Alicia, tries to figure out how much would it cost if you were to mount a marketing campaign, so to speak, on behalf of Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman to restore them to where their reputations were before this all took place. And the damage here is really widespread. I've been reading Shay Moss's testimony. There is no question that the damage here was extensive, so extensive that when she went to a Chick-fil-A to try and apply for a job there rather than continuing in her job at the elections department, the person who interviewed her there took his laptop, turned it around, and faced it toward her with a picture of her and the word fraud stamped right across it and said, "What's going on here? Can you explain this to me?" Her life was destroyed by this, and the reputational campaign that would have to be mounted to put her back to where she was before December 4th, 2020, when the allegations first surfaced, would be considerable. And that's what Professor Humphreys tried to do here.
Rev, there's the damage that has been done to American democracy. There's the damage that has been done to our institutions. Those are themes that we come back to over and over again. This case is so important because it is a reminder that there were individuals whose lives were forever changed.
And I think that we have to keep in mind, Rudy Giuliani was not just some advocate that believed Donald Trump. He was a celebrated former U.S. attorney. He had been America's mayor. So when he said that he looked into these things, he had a background that would give credibility to his claims. It's one thing somebody comes in the studio and convinces you or I on something. It's another if we say we investigated it and we were the top federal investigators that broke up the mob and all. So he brought all of that to bear against these women. And I think that you've got to consider that in whatever the jury comes with tonight. This is no ordinary guy that made just reckless statements. This is a guy that should have known how to investigate something.
Ryan, I'm told we have a verdict.
We do. I'm not going to try to do math live on the air, but it's a significant penalty, over $100 million altogether. $75 million in punitive damage, $20 million towards each of them, and then more than $16 million for the first question in compensatory damages. So a significant finding against Rudy Giuliani, and is really what his loan lawyer would describe as the civil equivalent of the death penalty for Rudy Giuliani here.
Give me a little context on those numbers, Lisa Rubin. Did any of this surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I had actually expected that punitive damages award, Alicia, to be huge. And the reason is, separate from compensatory damages, which are meant to compensate the person for their injuries, including emotional distress, punitive damages are meant to send a message, as Mike Gottlieb, who is one of Ruby and Shea's lawyers, said in his closing statement. They are meant to deter future behavior like that, but also to send a message to the wrongdoer that what you did here was so egregious and so wrong that it's meant to punish him, not to reward them. And so to the extent that the numbers that Ryan has just reported to us are accurate and that there are punitive damages here in excess of $70 million, that is a unanimous jury, Alicia, and I should underscore that. The jury verdict here had to be unanimous, down to the dollar and cent, telling the world what Rudy Giuliani did to these women, particularly abusing that position of trust that he had, as Rev was just discussing, was so heinous that he should be punished more than they should be compensated for their injuries.
Ryan, my friend, you said you did not want to do math on the air, but I'm going to ask you to run us through those numbers one more time.
Sure, over 150 is what we can go with now. So it's 75 in those punitive damages. The compensatory damages is 16 each, and then an additional 20 each for both of them. So very significant finding here. Ultimately landing on slightly different numbers for the compensatory damages. Both of them are in the $16 million range, but they're a little bit different for each of them. And then it's matching 20 and then 75 overall punitive.
Lisa, you can explain why.
Yeah, so there are two categories of compensatory damages here. We've been talking about this case in shorthand, Alicia, as a defamation case, but there were actually two different claims. One was defamation and one was intentional infliction of emotional distress. And that's where these two numbers divide. Each of these women being awarded more than $16 million on the defamation, but on emotional distress, each of them also being awarded $20 million each for the emotional distress that Rudy Giuliani intentionally inflicted upon them by his statement and then restatement of the lies about what Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shaye Moss were doing at the State Farm Arena that night.
All right, there you go. So that was just to express a little bit about the last election cycle and the focus that was put out, many of the fraudulent claims that were put out just about voting. And to connect that to the fact that right now the RNC is going around the country trying to find the ways to exclude people from voting. And some of the people that they've excluded, one of the biggest groups that would have been excluded in the last civil trial that they just lost in a month's time, right? 30 days from now, it would have affected military people the most, and others that live overseas, Americans that live and work overseas, right? Plus the military. That's hundreds of thousands of people, let alone others inside of the U.S. People that just live in places where the mail happens to be slow, or maybe there could be a weather catastrophe. Imagine right now, if you live in a place where there was a hurricane, you think the mail is going to show up on time? Imagine if there was an earthquake, you think the mail is going to show up on time? What if you live in a place where there's fires? How do they get the mail around those fires? Do they ship it by truck? Do they take a new route? What's it going to be? Flooding. What about that? And so right now, just your average right, because just think about this, military people are just regular folk, like everybody else. That these things that they're attempting to do right now, just like Shaye Moss, just like Ruby Freeman, these were regular people being attacked just to do something regular. And it all ties back to the RNC and Donald Trump, right? Giuliani or his cohorts committing, making deformative claims about the election system. Committing defamation, among other things connected to the defamation too. So folks should keep that in mind. If you're voting, try your best to vote early this time around. Now, I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to open it up again later on tonight. I got another live going tonight. Check my lives. Just check the live section. Go to the YouTube page, click on lives that are coming up, and it's a couple that are coming up. But today, I just wanted people to hop up, and if they feel like Trump is the better choice for a candidate, just hop up and explain why. Nobody hopped up. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to be doing this frequently. Just speak your mind, because what I want to do is hear your claims, and then I want to fact check them. That's all. And also anything you say about anybody else, I want to fact check too. I want to do it both ways, because sometimes you learn things that way. Also myself, I learn stuff all the time. Okay, I'm gonna give you the last word, Pumpkin.
No, I was gonna say, don't forget to put the chat replay up. So
it's on.
Who come in? Yeah, it's on this time. Yeah, that way anybody who comes in who hasn't seen it will be able to click on those see those things that you put there for them to to
in
go
the chat.
to.
They can refer back to the live
things
chat.
that you put there for them to go in the chat.
Yeah, let me just double check that right now. Yeah, it's on live chat replay. I don't know why it didn't come on yesterday, but okay, well, I'm gonna shut it down for now. Thanks for hopping up, Pumpkin, as usual. And
I don't know why. I just woke up at 1:45. I don't know. Maybe I went to sleep with it on my mind. But so
and remember, no matter who you're voting for, vote. There's nothing wrong with that. Go out and vote.
To change the subject for a minute, I'm seeing your apparel. How do I order it? I need some winter clothes, and I buy hoodies.
Okay, well let me send you a discount code. Right, I'm gonna send you a discount code.
Send it through Cash App. Send it to me through Cash App.
A discount
code? Not Cash App.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whatever that app is.
No, I'll send it to you in the private chat. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. And I appreciate it. And as a matter of fact, what Pumpkin is talking about here is the web shop Azonto Apparel. If anybody wants to support, we take donations also, but here's the thing. It's better that you get something that's really cool, that's really quality, something you can use, you could buy a gift, and the prices are good. And by the way, if you're viewing, if you want a discount code, just send me a message through the system and say, hey, I was watching your YouTube channel and I want to get some gear, and I'd be more than happy to get you a discount code. Here's the shop. So you can check it out live. We got a lot of different gear in here. We got shoes, we got caps, we have shirts, we got jackets, hoodies. We got different stuff for different people. So you can just
hoodies. I like
feel free.
The hoodies for the winter.
Yeah, you just feel free and grab something that you like, and we take it from there. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Let me see here, and I will catch up with you all later on today. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Will give y'all everything. Yes, we going out. We going out just like that. Yeah. We going out. We going out just like that. Yes, we going out. We keep it moving like that.
Right. 2 seconds. Now, let me turn this down. If you look at the website, you will see a little chat button here. So when you go to the website, which is here, Azonto Apparel, Azonto hyphen apparel.online. You can get to the chat and you can type a message, and then I'll make sure I get you a discount code. Just say I caught you on YouTube. I appreciate everybody. Be good. Let me get this music back up. Peace.
Close to me and dear to me. The ones that's been there for my whole life. The ones that came later in my life, yeah. I appreciate all the blessings God has given me, and I want to repay it to you like this. Clap your hands.